once a year, the purge commences. I mean Black Friday, but same thing. People go nuts to buy toasters for $15 off, and if you think you're gonna stand in their way, think again. Welcome back to Top 5 Central, where today we count down 10 Black Friday freakouts caught on camera. Make sure to drop a like if you want good luck on this Black Friday. Trust me, after watching this video, you'll need it. So Black Friday lowers the prices of products large and small, and when it comes to freakouts, the product that tends to bring in the most amount of crazy is a big flat screen TV. Over most of the year, a flat screen could set you back thousands of dollars, but on Black Friday, that could be cut down to just hundreds. It's the perfect time to try and buy one from a store, or at least it would be if everyone else didn't have exactly the same idea. In this clip, the rules are simple: one flat screen per customer. It makes sense, right? On such a busy day with such incredible deals, there are gonna be a lot of people trying to get their hands on a TV. If everyone was allowed to purchase as many as they wanted, it probably wouldn't work out. But one woman doesn't seem to quite understand. She doesn't just have one TV, in fact, she doesn't even have just two. She's holding onto 3 different flat screen TVs, clearly trying to buy all of them. But the rest of the people in the store weren't having any of it and actually started ripping the TV sets away from her. The woman is in a state of total shock and starts yelling out for security to come and assist her. Unfortunately, the clip cuts out before security comes over, but man, that got ugly. So I think we could all agree that even in the crazy heated madness of Black Friday, children should be off limits. Like if some kid has already grabbed something, that item isn't yours. But unfortunately, not everybody thinks like that. The main thing that happens in this clip is a kid getting stolen from. But I've got to be honest with you, the craziness starts long before that. The clip is being taken from the point of view of a store worker just seconds before the doors of the store open. When they do, it's like a herd of wild animals in the middle of a stampede. People come streaming through the door and plow straight into a tower of boxes, with people snatching and grabbing at whatever the item is as quick as they can. The kid in question wanders over to this pile of products and people and innocently picks one up. Honestly, the poor kid probably doesn't even know what it is that he picked up. I mean, I can't imagine a young kid would be really that interested in a veggie steamer. Either way, a woman in a red coat runs straight up to the kid and claws the veggie steamer right out of his hands before trying to do exactly the same thing to his mom. What's even funnier, when the kid's mom starts to fight back, the woman calls out, "You're being so aggressive, you're scaring me!" As if she didn't just run up to a kid to steal a kitchen appliance. This probably isn't the case, but if you've ever wanted to feel like you're in the middle of a real-life zombie movie, then you should work at a major store on Black Friday.
No! God, please, no! No!
If it wasn't already apparent, the deals that happen on Black Friday make people go absolutely insane. In the case of this clip, the people waiting for the store to open just couldn't wait any longer, and they literally tried to beat the metal shutters down so they could storm the store. There's like an army of store workers at the shutters trying to keep them closed, but the army of shoppers is much bigger and much more powerful, and you can imagine who wins. They beat on the shutters until eventually they caved in. They streamed into the store like a horde of zombies, chasing the store workers who were just doing their job from the entry point. Scenes like this have been repeated across America and the rest of the world on Black Fridays across the years. In fact, this sort of reaction even made it to an episode of South Park. Sometimes insanity could probably be avoided. The management of stores could probably set things up so that things don't get quite as crazy as they do. For example, you probably shouldn't send a small woman into a giant crowd of hundreds of people with a bag full of expensive discounted products to hand out to people one by one with no backup. On a day like Black Friday, that just isn't gonna work. So what does this store do? Exactly that. The woman is standing in the middle of at least like 200 people next to stacks of electronics, as well as a big bag filled with other electronics. It seems like her job is to distribute these products to the people nearby one by one, without letting things get too out of control. Well, my first grade math lessons finally came into play here because one person against 200, yeah, things got out of control real quick. People scrambled for the hardware, ripping it off the stands and out of the bag without any regard for the little girl. Luckily, security was nearby, and when they realized that things were going downhill very quickly, they rushed in to help her. I just can't help but ask, why weren't the security guards just helping in the first place? I mean, who knows, but it probably would have stopped the people turning into wild animals. As we've already seen, Black Friday shopping tends to get out of hand pretty quickly, but in some parts of the country, shopping on Black Friday can be a fairly civilized event. Some stores have managed to keep people from rushing into the store as soon as they open, and have instead managed to get them to neatly queue up and wait their turn. Like I said, nice and civilized, until someone decides to break the peace. Cutting in line is a terrible thing to do at any point in time. To do it on Black Friday is just asking for trouble. Once again, this argument all starts over some dirt cheap Black Friday flat screen TVs at a Best Buy. Not only does this guy cut into the line, he actually starts to give a big speech about how nothing is gonna happen to him and that he is definitely not gonna be dropping out of line after he cut into it. Well, things get heated fast and he starts to get physical with other people in the line. But there's a happy ending to all this. As soon as the doors opened, the security team kicked him out of the line after he waited there for 4 hours. Black Friday makes people lose all reason. This has now been well established, I must say, but there are some fights and arguments that happen in stores on that day that makes even less sense. Take, for example, these two women fighting over a vacuum cleaner. Why is this argument so strange? Well, first of all, this vacuum cleaner doesn't exactly look like it's the best quality vacuum in the world. Not only that, there are literally other vacuum cleaners all around the two women. It wouldn't have taken that much for one of them to give in and just let the other woman take the vacuum cleaner, but they both seem pretty determined to be the one to take it home. Eventually, mall security gets involved to break things up, but the question remains, why were these women so intent on fighting over a cheap vacuum while surrounded by literally the exact same vacuum? There's this strange misconception that Black Friday only happens in countries like America. I can understand where that idea comes from. Black Friday was invented in the States as a way to freak out over shopping after Thanksgiving, after all. But slowly the tradition has spread across the globe, and these days it even reaches places like South Africa, and the insanity is just as strong there as anywhere else. When the shutters in this South African store slide upwards, the people on the other side are waiting and ready. They dip their heads underneath the shutters the moment they get the chance and begin sprinting into the store. Some people stop just briefly to grab a shopping cart, others slip and slide on the floor, quickly darting out of the way so they don't get crushed underfoot by what looks like almost 1,000 people waiting to get in. The shop attendants and security guards wisely back away from the ocean of people stampeding their way through the gates. There is no stopping it. A Black Friday crowd at a store that is only just opening is a force of nature, no matter what country you're in. Across the world, the UK is always viewed as a sensible sort of nation. They're definitely not the sort of people who would wind up getting dragged into Black Friday insanity. They're all scones and tea and queuing up in lines, right? Well, trust me, I have a lot of friends in the UK, and if you actually looked into the UK a little bit more, you'd realize that the country can get just as crazy as anywhere else. And this clip of a Tesco store from Black Friday in 2017 proves just that. Just like anywhere else, people begin to stream into the Tesco as the doors open, grabbing as much merchandise off the shelves as they can. Things start to go wrong pretty quickly as those notoriously short British tempers start to overflow. It pretty much turns into a full-blown riot situation as people barge each other out of the way and start to get into arguments and fights over all the tech and products. People even start jumping on top of and over the expensive tech to get out of the way of the surge of people rushing through the store. Now, being in Black Friday is probably not so fun, but I gotta say, Black Friday is pretty fun to watch. But we have to remember that these are all real people getting into incredibly dangerous situations all over a bit of cheap shopping. A fact the London Metro Police were all too ready to remind us of when Black Friday first made its way to the UK back in 2014. It was this year that supermarkets like Asda in the UK first lowered their prices dramatically for Black Friday, just like they did in America, and it's pretty obvious that things didn't really go to plan. Even here in America, most stores still aren't prepared for the thousands of people that descend on the shopping aisles during Black Friday. But those stores in the UK really had no idea what to expect, which is why in 2014 people were pretty much trampled as the stores opened. If you were to go out to a store on any other day that wasn't Black Friday and you saw someone picking up something that you really wanted to get, you would probably just end up letting it go. The other guy got there first, right? It's technically his property at that point. On Black Friday, those rules of society seem to go out of the window entirely. If you're holding on to something, people seem to think it's still totally up for grabs. In this clip, a group of guys are all holding on to a single box. It literally looks like a war, and whoever can tug the box away first or hold on to it the longest is gonna be able to walk away with the grand prize. One guy is pulled away from the box by his girlfriend, leaving 3 people still fighting over it. Out of nowhere, one of the guys manages to pull the box away, only to be stopped by a store attendant and told to put the box down and that the fight is over. Wait, check out this video right now. I promise you'll love it. See you guys there.